This segment is sponsored by PMI US. A new nationwide survey finds a growing gap between how companies talk about innovation and what Americans actually want from it. So joining us now to discuss these survey findings is Libby Rodney from the Harris Poll. Hi, Libby, great to see you.
Hi, great to see you.
Yeah, so Libby, again, this survey finds that most Americans think we're innovating in the wrong areas. What's the biggest disconnect you're seeing between what companies are building and what people actually need?
Yeah, so what we saw in our research is that Americans say that companies are chasing moonshots and big technical innovations, but really what Americans want is they want companies to focus on the things that hit their wallets, right? So the stuff that shows up in the budget. They want companies to focus on lowering the cost of everyday life, making healthcare more accessible, creating good paying local jobs, and making housing more affordable. So really the gap there is companies are chasing, the future, which is wonderful, but Americans are trying to afford the present, and that's really the gap of innovation we see today.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And why are Americans placing more trust in their local communities than in the country as a whole?
Yeah, it's interesting. We saw a big drop off in confidence. So the confidence is in your local community, but it falls off nationally. And we think, and we see this across other data as well, whether it's trust or hope, is that these things are built in proximity. So the closer you are to somewhere that you live, the more you can watch it actually deliver, the more you believe it. So innovation that's close, you can believe because you touch it, you feel it, you sense it. And this is why people rank their neighbors and businesses and local community organizations over all big institutions. It's not just that cynicism of it all, but it's really that they can verify that things are actually happening.
Yeah. And given this information, what does the data tell you that companies should do differently if they want to earn back that trust?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important that companies realize and recognize that they're not coming in as a solution. Shouldn't come into communities and provide these solutions and be the hero, but they really need to think of themselves as the resource. Lots of communities, every different community is different. They know what they want and they know how to build solutions that are specific to their communities. What they need is a partner that brings resources and capital, and really importantly, long-term patience to helping rebuild, trust and hope, but also most importantly, innovation and the future of where their community gets stronger and more prosperous.
Yeah. You talked about the communities being different from one another. So talk about that one size fits all approach to innovation. Is that approach dying, and what does that mean for how companies should operate?
Yeah, I mean, there's really no national innovation story anymore. Of course, there is, from a big tech point of view. But again, where people want innovation, whether it's healthcare, housing, or schools and jobs, that is really happening at a local level. So you're thinking about 10,000 local innovation stories now. And so, for example, when we looked at these 10 different kind of cities in our research, we found that they are extremely different in their wants and needs and their relationships to innovation. So the issue is if your innovation story is really national, people are kind of tuning out and they don't feel like they're being heard, seen the way in which feels authentic to them. And so they automatically tune out. So the point is that innovation, you really have to think about it as building from the ground up.
This was really enlightening. Libby, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For more information, go to uspmi.com/en/America250.